So I was trying to make this on TikTok and put it on here, but I've never had a video censored on TikTok, but this one was. Mother America Rising. It has nothing to do, like in my experience, has nothing to do with Donald or Elon. Mother America Rising. In history, you always had a mother. You had the mother of Jesus. You had Mother Egypt, which was ISIS. Ishtar is not ISIS. They're not at all related. She had claw feet. She was a big whore with huge tits. She had nothing to, she was a monster. They're a monster. It was like before ISIS, there was this old monster bitch. The spirit still operates in the world. And then you had Mother Greece, who went from Egypt to Greece to Russia. Did she dabble in Turkey? I don't know. To Russia, because, well, Turkey is like Paris and Helen of Troy. To Mother Russia, to America. The spirit of the mother travels with the pioneers of the spirit, people escaping persecution time and time again. So they found themselves in America. There's a spirit in America that the Jesuits hate, that the Old Testament hates, that the people that are against God hate, and it's the spirit that follows the mother. So you have Mother America Rising. It's a faggot's world. It's no doubt about that. All these old politicians from the last 100 years seem to have tranny wives. You're living in a faggot's world. You're living in a lesbian world. It's the whore of Babylon is more so of a lesbian that wants to control men. And if she can't, she'd rather just scissor other freaking witches in the forest. The spirit and the principality is that of a gay dude and a lesbian chick. They're beards for each other, and that has nothing to do with the will of God. It's the gender inversion. So you have Mother America Rising. And I'm not saying it has anything to do with politics. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with Donald. It has nothing to do with Elon. She was never Rome. There was never a Mother Rome. The spirit of Rome and Roman culture, but she was never there. In fact, when Cleopatra, Mother Egypt, Cleopatra had problems with the fact that Marcus Antonius kept going back and forth from Rome. But she trusted, he was like her father, but also another husband. Like Julius Caesar went back and forth to Rome, but they were able to kill Julius Caesar. Why? Because it was a dark spirit, this pagan spirit in Rome. But Marcus Antonius kept going back between Rome and Egypt. There was never a Mother Rome. The Roman culture is so gay. It's so inverted, and we're living kind of like in the reality of that now. So the spirit, I think, has been like operating under the radar, but she's found herself obviously in America because she would follow obviously the spirit pioneers of the true men of God who found themselves in America after all the geographic persecution throughout the ages. So Mother America is rising, and it has nothing to do with Elon. It has nothing to do with Donald. I just have no reason to believe it has anything to do with Donald or Elon. But the father is going to avenge the mother eventually, because the father of the son, he sent his son Jesus Christ, right? This predates Cleopatra and Julius Caesar, but the father sent the son to make a covenant, to make a sacrifice, to make a covenant. So when people want to worship the father, he's only taking that as people whose names are not written in the book of life. Because if you were a good father and you sent your son to create a covenant to finally end the law and create a new covenant, so that because you can't live without sin, or you can't seem to operate without sin, he sent his son. If you then in turn, and his son was brutally broken, he was brutally beaten and broken. If you sent your son to the world to make a covenant with the people, and then people still want to worship you, guess what? The way that karma would have it, he's going to be like, okay, but I'm going to keep track of you, because he sent his son. to make the sacrifice. So if you sent your son to make a sacrifice where he was brutally beaten and bruised and died, and then people still in turn want to worship you and not respect the mother, at some point in the end of the age where we're at right now, wouldn't you want those people virtually dead? Yes, you would. But the way history has it, people have continued on. God let you continue on for a long time. Being stupid, being dumb, not worshiping the Father through the Son connected to the mother. They want to go straight to the mother, and then they just turn into a bunch of whores and lesbians. They want to go straight to the Father, and they just turn out to be a bunch of faggots and dudes who just can't be masculine. That's what he allowed. He allowed people to go on for so long. And the spirit has found itself in America. It went from Isis was Egypt to Cleopatra, Egypt, Greece, perhaps to Turkey, to Mother Russia. Mother Russia is now in America. Mother Russia is now in America. You got Mother America. The spirit of the mother is now in America because she follows the son. She follows the persecuted. So naturally, God's going to rain down hellfire on the people who, throughout the ages, just wanted to continue to just worship him. He'd be like, nope. Just want to worship the mother. He's going to be like, no. The mother doesn't even want worship. She's like, oh, if a woman wants worship, she's that of Ishtar, whore of Babylon. This was Rome. She was never in Rome. She always hated Rome. There was never the presence of the mother in Rome, right? They took the Hellenistic version of Aphrodite and maybe turned her into Venus or vice versa. It was never her. It was repackaged and given to us in the form of Ishtar. Ishtar is the inversion. There's always an imposter woman who is trying to be the inversion of the mother, and it's not her, and it's all a lie. It's all a lie. If you usurp Jesus and go straight to God, it's all a lie. If you usurp either of them and go straight to the mother, it's all a lie. You get the worst personalities, you get the worst people. And God allowed this to go on for a long time. But the spirit of the mother has found herself naturally in America because of the way people have migrated. Mother America rising. Judgment to America, judgment to the people of America. You can't go outside of Jesus to God, and you can't get to the mother either way. A good husband would bring judgment to those who tried to do either of those things. This is why in the end it says every knee shall bow to Jesus Christ, because that's all you had. You can take the mark, but it's the worst thing you could do, it seems. We'll see. Don't know. We'll find out, but wouldn't take my freaking chances because it's a faggot's world. It is a faggot's world since the death of Julius Caesar. Since the death of Julius Caesar, it's been a faggot's world. And Julius Caesar, well, I don't know about him, but Cleopatra came 30 years after Jesus Christ. So, you had a small amount of time where people had the ability to get their wits about them, and they've been warring ever since. And they've been creating religions ever since. And all the while, God's judgment has been piling up and piling up and piling. And all the while, the spirit of the mother has been migrating from Egypt to Greece, maybe to Turkey, and then up to Russia, and then now she's in America. Mother America rising. Has nothing to do with Elon or Donald, has nothing to do with it. Kind of an interesting concept to grasp, but, God's will be done. All right, check you later.